Hi, my name's Cory Jones, and I'm the president and head of creative for Cryptozoic Entertainment. And I could not be more excited to tell you about the launch of our Kickstarter. It's for the first ever real digital MMOTCG, and it's called Hex. I know you're going to love it, and there's nothing I wouldn't do to get this game funded, so I hope you have a good time checking it out. Before I jump into Hex, maybe this is the first time you're hearing about Cryptozoic. Cryptozoic makes the board games, comic books, trading cards based on some of the most popular entertainment brands in the world. But we're here to talk about Hex. Hex is the first real digital MMO TCG. It takes everything that's great about an MMO, like community building, storytelling, role-playing, and marries it to the compelling and dynamic gameplay of a trading card game. More than anything, Hex creates a new category of game and unlocks an amazing amount of innovation. And if you're anything like me, you're going to absolutely fall in love with what it is we're doing. And I should start off by saying this is a digital-only MMOTCG. What does that mean? That means that we designed it to take advantage of its digital nature. You know, we're not a video game company, clearly, but from day one at Cryptozoic, I started talking about this game and about how this game needed to exist. Now I've played thousands of hours of TCGs and thousands of hours of MMOs, and it dawned on me that they have something in common. They're both absolutely dependent on an incredible community. Without a community, those games don't work. And when I sort of put those two things together, it became very clear that an MMOTCG could be absolutely incredible. Frankly, I'm surprised no one's done it before. It's just such a perfect marriage. And I gotta tell you, nothing like this exists. It's the game that I've always wanted to play. So let's take a look at the actual game. You look at trading card games right now in terms of what's out there digitally. Most of them are sort of tied back into physical card games, and physical card games start off with a certain set of rules that are dictated by being physical cards. And for us, we decided we weren't going to be a physical game ever. It was only going to be a digital game. What that meant was we had all this amazing space open to sort of create new dynamics for a card game. And I think we've done a very good job of that. Now, one of the things we've also been very careful of is not making digital-only dynamics that take away from the strategic component of a trading card game, and that's to be very, very important. So we talk about what's called chain strategy, where you're coming up with interactions and what you think is going to occur in any given sequence. Bringing into it variables that you don't control on the front end, you control on the back end, are very bad ways to bring digital into a TCG space, and so we've been very careful of stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of this. Some of the elements of the game are very MMO specific, like you're going to be able to, you go to a globe, and this is where you'll explore all the different areas of the world. We have about 7 years worth of content on that globe. You unlock a very small piece of it in the first year, and then we're going to go off into the other sides and all around the entire globe, and you're going to see lots of different very cool things. We have a very slick deck editor. So one of the great things about this is that we've done a good job making sure that all the information you're needing to manage, I mean, managing a trading card game is not an easy thing. And so we've absolutely worked very hard on making this a very easy interface to look at all your cards, to build your deck, and to sort through everything that you would want to sort through, including going into some very advanced filters and figuring out what it is you're looking for specifically. On this side, it'll show you what equipment that you have related to each of the cards. You can put the equipment on, pick your champion, build your decks.
We haven't announced it.
Now let's see.
There's some good variety. Gameplay-wise, one of the things that was last year was they had like...
I'll show you actually playing. I'm actually going to play Chris Woods, our lead engineer, and I'll show you what an actual game looks like. Again, keep in mind that the resolution and all this is kind of jacked on this screen. The game itself is incredibly beautiful. It's I'm gonna go ahead and keep my hand. I've got a couple of resources, so looks good. And one of the great things about this is that it's trying to be a full-featured PC game version of a TCG, which means that all of the bells and whistles, all the animations and lighting effects will be in there to make this look absolutely beautiful. So I don't have any cards I can cast on turn 1. I got this guy on turn 2. He's great. He's a 2/2 that gains +1/+1 every time I gain life. That's kind of what this deck wants. I got a combo here. This one is 0/4, but when he attacks, he gets attack equal to his defense. And I've got this that gives me +1 defense for each of these diamond threshold points I have. So that's a nice combo. So I'm looking pretty good. I'm going to be able to start building a pretty good hand, I think.
What happens if you choose not to accept your starting deck?
If I don't accept it, it deals me a new hand, shuffles the deck, deals me a new hand with -1 card. And I can keep doing that all the way down to I have 1 card. So if I get, basically it's trying to help you get out of being sort of having too many resources or too little resources in your opening hand, which is a very important piece of it. Right now we're not optimized in terms of the past priority, but in the future, there's actually going to be selectable elements over here that allow me to decide which pieces of my turn sequence I want it to ask me if it's necessary to stop so that I can make adjustments or make decisions. Right now it's just all turned on, so it's a little slow. So I'm going to go ahead and I got 2 resources, so this guy starts glowing. Now I can cast my Righteous Paladin.
So will the random PvE encounters play out the same way as the PvP matches in this?
Yeah, well, for PvE, it's you versus the AI, and the AI is incredible. Like, it is the best TCG AI ever created. My guy's specialty is TCG AI. So, but the way that the PvE works is that all the dungeons are very different. I mean, there's lots of them that have standard TCG components, but there's lots of dungeon components that are puzzles, or there's start and play effects, or there's timers, or there's a deck building game built into one. There's one that gives you the deck you're going to play, and then you modify it as you get more and more wins and gain points to spend in a store. And all these different ways to do a dungeon experience. So it's not just playing a TCG, it's all these really great, puzzly, fun other games, basically, that revolve back around all of the TCG stuff you've learned in this game. So it doesn't play out quite the same. PvP is really the standardized, what you would expect from a traditional trading card game that was trying to be hyper competitive, and I think we've been pretty successful in creating a very compelling first set. It's definitely a draft, as an example. Oh, so I got another guy. This guy doesn't say it here, but it's supposed to be a 3. So for 3 resource points, I can give him any one of these abilities. So I can start to grow this guy as the living totem. So again, another one of those pretty fun things you could do in a digital TCG you couldn't do in a regular one, or at least not do it very cleanly. I'm not going to attack because he has a 3/1 he can defend with, so I'm going to go ahead and wait.
And so on the UI here, like, is that a timer on the left?
Yeah,
side?
the screen is cutting it out. Yeah, this is your standard like chess style timer, and this is showing you the same information here, which is up here too. Let me give my pass priority. And so the point being that we don't want people stalling. You definitely have a certain amount of time. There's a countdown clock also in the game in terms of taking your turn. I believe it's at 2 minutes right now. So if you're inactive for 120 seconds, it just times you out. So we definitely have kept in mind the idea that if I'm playing against other people online, I want to make sure that that's always going to be a positive play experience and that other people can't do little things to make it sort of miserable. So now he's used his charge power. So what that means is, when he got to the 3 resources, he got these little points here, which are charge points. He was at 3, which unlocked his charge power, and what his charge power does is it gives him a 3/1 Blaze Elemental with speed that at the end of the turn he has to sacrifice it, so he can attack me with that guy right away. My guy has a charge power at 2, which I can use when I decide to. I can give one of these guys the ability that when he does damage, I gain that much life. So each of the different champions has different charge powers, and then they all have different costs as well. So the more resource points I play, the more charge power points I get. So the resources kind of do dual duty, so it helps if you're kind of getting too many lands. It'll help you sort of balance that out a little bit. Now he's going to attack me. Now I've got to make a decision. I'm going to go ahead and take it all because I want to keep these 2 guys, because these 2 guys are good later game. as I start to invest into them. But he's trying to go very. All right, so he cast this guy. This guy's thing is I can't gain health, so he kind of just shuts down a lot of the components of this deck. So now I'm in real trouble. So I got to figure out a way to win without gaining health. Well, getting another resource helps. So now I can start to do things like cast these spells that give these guys a higher back end. So if I do that, I'm going to, let's see. So now he's a 2/5. So I'll go ahead and skip. So this allows me to get a guy back that I can kind of block with and try to control him a little bit as I work to sort of establish board control and see if I can't bring this game back. The Ember Spire Witch is really bad for this deck. That's a big one. Oh, so look what he did. Okay, he just put out this card that says at the start of each champion's turn, this constant deals 3 damage to that champion. So because he's got me he's done the first blood, he's going to go ahead and throw that out there so he can continue to drive me down and try and get me out of the game quicker than I can get him out of the game, which is probably a fair call because he has more damage on the board. So that just did 3 points to me. So he put a real clock on the game now. Now we'll see what I draw. Okay, so I got nothing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give this guy. He's got a bunch of guys. I'm going to go ahead and give this guy first strike. So I can block out this stuff a little better. The problem is that Inferno is going to keep chipping away at me here pretty quick, and I won't be able to turn this around.
So what do the different icons in the center of the board represent?
That's all the different parts of the turn sequence, the main phase, the draw step, the attack phase. Those are all the different things you would have in a traditional TCG turn sequence. And what it does is it allows me to see which of these are lighting up. Again, it's so blurry, this looks like crap, but in the real game it looks beautiful on the PC. And then this piece lights up with whatever. We have another colored bar that's going to be built into the glow, basically. So we got lots of stuff that's still coming. And then also you can see the turn sequence when this is over, right? You can see it in here, you can see the clock times, and you can also see what phase you're in up here. You'll notice this slides out to reveal the chain, basically, so all the different card interactions that go onto the chain.
And then how does it work out when you're teaming up with other players and running content?
So in the raid content, what it does is actually gives you symbols, and this is your virtual play space. This is where the boss lives, and then you'll click on these and it'll slide the game space over, and you'll see their board. But your cards stay, so you're able to slide over and then use your cards on their stuff, and then slide yourself back in. Or you can click a button and it'll just kind of follow whoever's turn it is. And so you got a couple of different ways to manage it. But we've built a pretty slick interface for the 3 versus 1 component, and that's been pretty fun. We're definitely working real hard to make sure that any multiplayer content is very, very smooth and very, very quick, because the opportunity for you to become bored goes up exponentially when you're waiting for a lot of people to take turns, and we don't want there to ever be a negative play experience. So anything we do, we want to make sure that it plays well.
And then do you have any like 2 players versus 2 player systems in place?
Well, we can do it. We haven't done it yet because we haven't figured out a way to make that move as quickly as we would like. When it's 3 against the AI, it seems to go pretty fast because the decisions I'm going to make are very much about what's in my hand. It's not about what they're doing. And so when I'm playing against the AI that way, it's quick. So even in 3-player, my people are taking their turns quick, and I'm engaged because I'm affecting their cards too. In the 2v2, it seems to bog down a little bit. So that's a feature I want in the future, but until I can get to a place where I feel like it's fast enough and it's managed enough that it's not negative, I kind of don't want to do it. I think eventually, even if we can't figure it out, we probably move forward because I want that feature. Oh look, I got another resource. This is probably going to be too little too late here. I can cast this guy.
So the resource system's persistent, or can you spend it during a match?
The resource system is the threshold, and then also how many you have available is like sort of system that says if I put 4 resources into play, I have 4 on the beginning of my turn, I spend them. So that's like I spent all 4, so I'm at 0, but I have 4 total. Okay. And the thresholds just relate to the threshold costs on the side of the cards, but they're not specifically tied to that resource type. Okay. So that makes making multiple resource types decks a little easier. So I can't really do anything. He's just going to wait and kill me with this damn thing. Unless I can figure out some way to get him.
So I'm guessing you could acquire a card that would somehow counter out that card?
Yes, yeah, I just don't happen to have one in this deck. There are cards that get rid of, that's called a constant, so there's cards that will get rid of a constant. But he put me on the ropes pretty quick. It's hitting him too, but I'm just a little bit lower. So the question becomes, can I pile through some damage to put it on even? But he has a lot of burn in his deck too, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does something to like further damage me and make me closer to losing.
When customizing yourself, is it all about the deck that you build, or are there things you can do as your character account separate from it?
Yes, so the things like in the PvE content, I have a champion, I level him up, I'll show you in a second, I have a whole skill tree, I'll make decisions, and all those decisions impact how all of my decks work. And so, but I can change that guy, I can rebuild him as many times as I want and assign him to decks. So like there's 6 different classes, and depending on the class, definitely impacts the kinds of talents and how they affect the decks. And then outside of that is all the equipment. Each of the cards has 2 pieces of equipment, and then I pick which equipment I want to wear on the 6 slots that I have, and that is a really big, fundamentally changes how those cards work, makes them more powerful, makes them do different things. And so the real sandboxy component of this is so wide open that the combinatorials make this like the first real sandbox TCG. There's so much you can do, it's absolutely crazy. Am I waiting for him to? I wonder if this is.
And yeah, we covered your Kickstarter when it first initiated, and then it just blew up fast.
Right.
What were some of the more advanced goals that you guys raised in the extended section?
Some of the more advanced goals. Tablet support was a big one. I mean, that was huge. The stuff after that we unlocked, I mean, we unlocked like the guild combat system and a big guild tournament system. We unlocked some more dungeons that we wanted to do, but we had to cut it down because of the timing and how many people. And so we said, okay, we'll bring in some more resources and we'll put all those dungeons back in we wanted to do and do some extras. We put in a bunch of content towards the beginning. The VIP program we wanted to do, where it was like, for $4 a month, you actually get the chance to get a $1 a week pack, basically, so a half price pack. You get a couple of little features. We have this giant list of stuff that we want to do in the long term over the next year, couple years, 3 years. This just let us cherry pick a few of those and drag them up to launch, which was great. I was very, very happy about that. Ah, I messed up. Well, let's see. So when he attacks, because he has an 8 back end now, he's going to get an 8 front end. So he's a big guy. So now he has to make a decision. Does he block or does he take it? He's going to block. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, I did. Oh, he has, yeah, he has his charge ability ready. So now he's probably going to be able to beat me right here.
So what's his charge ability?
His charge ability was the one where he made the 3/1 that could attack right away.
Right.
Maybe he didn't do it. So now I'm going to block with my guy who has first strike, quick strike, swift strike, which killed his guy. So now I'm down to 2. So let's see what I got here. Now, unfortunately, let's see here. So this is interesting. There might be a way that I could win this. He's going to block this guy for sure, but I have something where I can kill his guy when he decides to block, which will give me some extra life, which will give me an extra turn. So what I'm going to do is use my charge ability. Let's see, I got 5, 4. I'm going to use my ability on this. So that's missing. So now this guy gives me 2 life, basically, if he does damage. So now I'm going to go ahead and attack with everyone. He has to block this guy because he's so big, it'll kill him. With her, she's the one that's making me lose because I can't gain health right now. So now he's going to block. So I have this. So because I kill her before combat damage, I'm now going to do combat damage, which means that was the Swift Strike damage first. That takes me back up to 4. Oh, he still has his 3. Oh wait, let's see, 3 in the beginning of my turn. Oh, I can put out a blocker. I have at 1 point. Hooray! I think I won.
Using the non-portraited card.
Yes.
GM packs always pull through.
So now he's going to take his 3, which takes him to 2. He's got. Oh, does this guy have? Let's see. What's this all about? No, he can't block, and this I can't gain any more life. And I'm less than him. Ah, how is this possible? Luckily, he doesn't know I have another one of these. Let's see if it helps. Now really, all I have to do is get enough damage over. I got to get 2 points over. If I get 2, he can block the big one, he can block the big one, and he'll take 2. Okay, that should be fine. I should be able to win here. Especially if I go, give him +1. So I have 2 left. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with everything. His ability triggers. He has to block. He can't block with that guy. Oh, is that it? He couldn't block with him. I forgot. Oh yeah, that's it. I forgot this guy can't block. This is programmer art, clearly. Don't let my programmers hear that. They get very upset when I say that. Fireworks on a big picture, hooray. So as you can see, lots of this stuff is still being implemented. You know, champions, you're gonna be able to make a champion. You have a talent tree that gives you, you know, all kinds of different, like as an example, these are these 3 different types are kind of like the beatdown deck, the control deck, and the combo deck trees. And then the decisions you make in there will then impact the kinds of things that are going to be put into those